Hi everyone, welcome to the session. Today we are solving para-completion questions. Yes, now that 3 months are left for CAT 2024, exam is around the corner. We must or we need to really increase everything, our speed, our accuracy, the way we solve questions, right, etc. etc. And there has been a lot of comments on my previous videos that you would need questions and you need to practice para-completion. So in today's class, you just need this one class to solve para-completion. I'm going to tell you strategy, how exactly to approach these kind of questions. We are going to solve some easy, medium, hard and some past year questions as well. I'll be giving you a small assignment at the end of the class, and hopefully I don't think you need anything else except today's class. I will definitely post more classes on para-completion just for your practice, but in terms of just learning the strategy and getting that almost a 90% accuracy whenever you solve a para-completion question, this class is more than enough, students. So let's get started with para-completion. Now what all are we going to do today? So we are going to do 5 things. First, I'm going to teach you the concept, how exactly you should approach these kind of questions. After that, we'll start solving some easy level questions so you are able to incorporate the concept and strategies I tell you. Then some advanced level questions, some past year question papers, so that this year when you solve para-completion questions in exam in November, how exactly you should think, what should be your thought process, how you should read, how you should do process of elimination, all these things you should know. That's why we will be solving some past year questions, and at the end I'll be giving you assignments of some 5 to 7 questions. The answer key and explanation you'll find in the description box as well as in the Telegram group both, right? So once you solve it, try to check your answers after you solve it, but of course you can just check whenever you like, right? So let's get started, students, with the concept. First of all, what is para-completion, especially when it comes to CAT 2024? So para-completion questions are there in many exams, not just in CAT exam, right? So if you just follow this class, it is going to be helpful for any exam for that matter. Now in para-completion question, when it comes to CAT 2024, there will be a paragraph given and one of the sentences will be taken out. So it can be first sentence of the paragraph, last sentence of the paragraph, somewhere from the middle, right, center, and one of the sentence will be taken off, and 4 options will be given. Out of those 4 options, that you will have one of those sentences which is taken off, and that is your answer, right, like that. So basically, see, CAT, be it any question, be it para-completion or be it para-jumble for that matter, everything is checking ultimately your comprehension skills. And for this also, in order to do para-completion really well, your reading has to be very thorough. Your reading habit has to be there. So make sure you are continuing the reading. You have to read, students, every day for half an hour to 1 hour till your CAT exam at least. And if you can continue that after that, it will be helpful for your career. But yeah, coming back to the topic, reading is important. So you have to complete a missing line from a paragraph, and this line is generally the last line of the paragraph. So generally the last line, it can be anything. Now, so what should we do? We have to read the given statement carefully and see, okay, right? Statement as in the entire paragraph, right? When we say statement, the entire paragraph carefully to understand what's going on, to understand the main topic, right? First of all. And then wherever the blank is around that, if it is the last line, then you have to focus on, right, the previous line, that and then see what exactly are we talking about overall in the paragraph, and at the end, especially how the last line is ending. Read the overall sentence again and see in para completion, para summary, these are the 2 topics where comparison skills are, students, very important. Comparison skills, right? It's not something that, okay, this option has similar words as given in the paragraph, so this is the answer. Maybe the other option is much more relevant, has much more relevant words or information than this than other particular option. So make sure you compare all the option and see which one is better, because the other option may not be that wrong. You see, understand, in para completion question, examiners are getting very clever these days. So for example, if I am the examiner, I'm picking up this para completion paragraph, last line is blank, and I'm picking up this from a certain article. So what I'll do is I'll pick up these 4 lines first, 5th will be blank, And in the options, I'll give you 6, 7, 8 line of the same article. So all the options will be quite relevant, honestly. It's not like the options are not at all related, only one is correct. Because all the options are taken from the same article. So you have to really see what else, which option is more relevant than other options, much more related to the given paragraph. Now you can see the last line as blank, or last line as the continuation of an idea, first line, middle line. It can be anything in exam. In different exam, different format, but in CAT exam it can be anywhere, like that. Now few things you must keep in mind. I'll be separately telling you while solving a para completion question. So the first will be comparison, right? Process of elimination or comparing all the options. Now, thorough reading. When you read a certain paragraph, you have to identify what's the main topic. Main topic. And last, most important is read around the blank, right? So if the last line is blank, for example, last line is this is the blank, I'll just read the previous line, right? Just previous line. If center line somewhere it is blank, I'll read the before and after line, like that. So, and then see if that correct answer is relevant to just other lines around it, right? Before it and after it, rather than the whole paragraph. And it should also have the main topic, something related to the main topic. And do not forget comparison. Comparison is super important. There's nothing like perfect answer in these exams. You know that. You have to compare and get to the correct answer. So let's get started. Let's start with some easy level questions, students. This first question, what you can do is, see, let's read the directions first. The last sentence is missing, means this portion is missing. In the paragraph given below, choose the most logical option to complete the paragraph meaningfully. So here our first step should be to read the entire paragraph and figure out the main idea or main topic of the whole paragraph, or these 4 to 5 lines which is given. Since we have to find out the last line, we will read specifically this line carefully, right? Our cities, just the line previous to that. So whichever blank is there, either the last line, first line, you have to read the lines immediately around it, right? Very carefully, because your correct answer will be related to that. So before or after lines, must be read carefully. And third, just because we have understood the main topic, we have read before and after line, doesn't mean any option which has a similar word will be the correct answer. We have to compare the option and choose the most relevant one. There can be two options which look equally good. Which one has more relevant words to the given paragraph, that we will choose. Okay, so these 3 things we are going to follow. Let's get started, everyone. I'll try to make this question for you to understand as in an easy way as possible. But students, in exam, I'll not be there, or any of your teacher will not be there to help you understand the question first, right? So understanding the question correctly and fast is definitely a duty in next 3 months. Make sure you read, you develop reading habits, so that you don't spend a lot of time in just understanding the question. Of course, finding the right answer will take time, but just understanding the paragraph should not take more than 1 minute. Be it para completion, be it para jumble, odd one out, summary, or whatever for that matter. Make sure your reading is so good. Your daily reading habit has to be for half an hour, 1 hour, that in exam you understand the question within a minute. And then of course you can take your time, 1 minute, 2 minutes extra if the question is easy or hard, right? Depending. Okay. Coming back to the question, can small temporary cultural cues, what are cues? Cues are like hints or signs, symbols, like that. So can temporary cultural cues really change the way we perceive the world? We perceive as in how we understand the world. What this line is trying to ask, the question is, depending on where I live, for example, I live in the most developed country, or in that also in the most posh area, then how will exactly I'll perceive the world? That everything is good, everybody is living a good life, there's no problem in the world, people are unnecessarily complaining, people should take a chill pill, like that. But if I'm living in, say for example, in a slum area, in a very poor area, in underdeveloped country, how will I perceive the world? I'll think, okay, world has has too many problems. God is not fair, maybe, or people have a lot of problems. There is a lot more bad in the world than good, right? All these things. So how the cultural cues, where I live, how the general culture is, that affect or change the way I perceive the world, or we perceive the world. You may think a culture would affect you only if you've spent some time immersed in it. We will think, okay, maybe some time only. If I'm living in a certain country, in a developed country, or underdeveloping country for 5 years, 10 years, then only that culture will affect me. But no, that's not the case. There are people who go to US, है ना, लोग US जाते हैं, America जाते हैं, and within a week or 10 days they come back with an accent, with an American accent. So you think they are faking it? No, right? They are not faking it. Culture influences you more easily than you realize. So actually they get influenced there, right? Easily, thanks to the internet and the rise of global commerce and travel and then now, even if let's say we are not traveling, but internet is there, so we know how Americans speak, what is their lifestyle, how people in Australia live, how people in Japan live, for example, right? We know everything because of internet, because of global commerce, as in India also you get imported things easily, right, in supermarkets. So you know, okay, this is an American product, this is an imported product, this is not an Indian product, or this is an Indian product, for that matter. You know everything about the world. And travel is also increasing these days, so we have all become more aware of foreign ideas and symbols, and that is where a lot of people these days, if you see especially the young generation, the choice of clothing, shoes, everything is very westernized, right? Because now that in last 10 to 15 or 20 years we are more open to foreign ideas. पहले तो था ही नहीं, right? Earlier it was not the case. So people's dressing, attitudes, thought process was very simple as in very Indian like. But now that's not the case, right? People are generally are living the life. Young people especially wearing the clothes, the choices of food and everything is quite international level, right, rather than local level. So our cities are peppered with, especially if you're living in a city where you have Chinese restaurant, Italian, Korean restaurants, all these things. If you, our cities are full of, peppered means full of foreign ideas and symbols, right? We do have westernized clothing, we do have these east and west restaurants, everything. So as you're exposed to them, you are inevitably swayed means you get influenced. So as you, even though you don't realize, you may feel, I've never gone abroad, I'm very much Indian, I think like Indian, but no, you don't. If you use internet, you're not purely an Indian person, right? That's what this paragraph is saying. All right. So now see, first few words of all the options are similar, right? When you're in Chinatown or at an Asian supermarket, right? All these words are similar. So we'll just compare all the options based on the last few words. So what is the main topic, students? That main topic I'll just highlight quickly. Main topic is that depending on where we live, what kind of culture, it changes how we perceive the world and influences us. Last line says that, right? So this is what we are trying to say. Before and after line, second step, if I read, so just last line, that our cities are peppered with the letter means foreign ideas and symbols, and as soon as the more we see foreign ideas, foreign things, we get influenced. हम ये बोल रहे हैं, ठीक है? So now which option says that we get influenced? If I'm getting influenced means, if you are influencing me, I've started thinking like you, right? I've started behaving like you. मतलब मैं क्या हूँ, मेरा original क्या है? I'm forgetting that. So what first option says? It says opposite. ये तो opposite बोल रहा है. You cannot avoid noticing how the culture is different from your own. So if you can focus, right, you cannot avoid noticing, as in you have to, right? You are actually seeing, so two negatives become positive. So you can actually notice how your culture is different from their culture. So if I can see the difference, that you are a different person, I am a different person, I'm being me, you being you, right? We can coexist being different to different people. That means I'm not getting influenced. And अगर मैं influence हो रही, means I'm forgetting who am I and I'm behaving like you, like that. So यहाँ पे तो आप difference, here you can see the difference. So no, right? You're saying you're getting influenced. So I need somewhere where you're getting influenced. If you're in Chinatown or Asian supermarket, you feel like trying out the local cuisine. So yes, if I want to try the local cuisine, see that happens. If we go somewhere, if I go to South India, I would feel like trying South Indian food, isn't it? Or if South Indians come to North India, they will feel like eating North Indian food. But that doesn't mean we're getting influenced just because we want to try the local cuisine. So maybe, let's say maybe, not very sure. Just eating the popular food does not mean you're getting influenced. So maybe we'll just keep it for sure for now. Now, when you're in Chinatown at an Asian supermarket, your worldview becomes more Asian. Like you started thinking, even if you're coming from US, you start thinking like an Asian. Or from Asia, if you go to America, you after a few days you start thinking in the way American thinks, or and you forget how you used to think in India, like that. So it actually goes with the first line, that it affects how we perceive the world. See, first line and last line also says we get swayed, means we get influenced, like that. So yeah, at least between B and C, C is much better. I'll put double tick mark. Option D. When you are in Chinatown or at an Asian supermarket, you cling to your culture. Means you get attached to your cultures. If I'm going abroad and I attach to my culture more strongly to avoid getting influenced, that I'm not getting influenced. But here we are saying we are getting influenced. So this is also opposite. This is not the correct answer. Right? A and D goes away. And between B and C, C has words which are much more relevant to the given paragraph. Isn't it? So C will be our correct answer. I hope you got it, students. So now tell me, before we move to next question, how many of you have gone somewhere जो कि आपके culture से, a place where the culture was, for example, different from your own. It can be within India, abroad, and then you started thinking like this, right? Your worldview changed, your attitude changed, right? Depending on, you got cultural shock maybe, right? Just because you are in a new place. Okay. For me, if I have to tell you about me, so I was living in Gujarat for like 7 to 8 years, and then immediately I went to like so Gujarat generally is very peaceful place, right? People are very sida sada and like nice. And then from that, I immediately sida sada as in people are very peaceful, shant, and everything. And then from there I went directly to Delhi, where although I'm from Delhi, is where people are generally comparatively louder, right, and everything. So yeah, right. So basically, I could see the difference in terms of people and everything. All right. Now, question number 2. Let's read. The last sentence is again missing here. So let's read it carefully. Drugs that allow for mood manipulation. Mood manipulation as in drugs. If I'm feeling depressed, if I have that medicine, I'll feel happy suddenly, right? Something like that. So mood change. Drugs that allow for mood manipulation are already on the market. Prozac, chemicals like oxytocin have the ability to make some people calmer, more empathetic, and more altruistic. So when people are happy, generally altruistic means they help others, right? They help others more. So people are more, they are more understanding, of course, right? When you don't have your own problems, then only you will be understanding to others' problem. When you have your own problems going on, you don't really want to know what's happening in my life. For example, you will say, ma'am, please teach, just don't tell me like your problems, right? So calm, empathetic, altruistic people are far more likely to act morally. So when people are calm and everything, they will act morally than anxious, callous, selfish people, right? When we are anxious, when we have our problems going on, we'll only think about ourselves. When our life is difficult, and people can perceive us as selfish, but that's what it is. So, but does that mean mood manipulation is going to let us force people? See, last line is very, very important. So when people are calm, see, when people are calm, they are more moral, right? That's what I'm saying. And when people are anxious, right? When people are anxious, they are more selfish. Not selfish means not moral. Okay. So does that mean mood manipulation is going to let us force people? That means we'll give drugs to people so they will be calm and they will be moral, to make a moral society. But is that a great idea to make people moral like this? Right? That's the question. That is that a good idea? That are we going to do manipulate people, make people forcefully happy so that they become moral? That's the question. Now, which option do you think will be the correct answer? We have solved one question. This is second question. You can pause the video for a minute, go through all the 4 options, and guess one of the options that you think is the correct answer, and then check if it matches with what I'm going to explain. Okay, so the correct answer is option D, students. And if it does, as in, yes, we are going to force people to be moral. So question, is it moral to force people to be moral? So it's not repeating the same thing. We are saying, are we, does that mean we are going to let us force people to be moral? And is it moral to force people, right? To be, because we can't force someone to be good, right? It has to come from inside. Will society as a whole benefit from it? See, the words इसके जो है, the words of these option D matches more with the last line and with overall main topic rather than option C for sure. Option B, would more people like to be moral? Again, people will be like to to be moral or not, we cannot ask that, because last line itself says we are going to force people. So forcing, right, that. So now people like or not, if वो पहले सोचते, if would have thought about it, then why would we say forcing? Isn't it that this word we will not use in the main question? Will it make more people moral? Of course, it clearly says with mood manipulation, people are calmer and calmer people are also. Of course, the answer is already given in the third line, right? Second and third line. But question is, should we really force people to be moral, right? So D is much more relevant to overall main topic as well as the last line, and that's why we are choosing D. Right, so like that, by process of elimination also, the keywords given in option D are much more related to the given paragraph. Question number 3, students. Let's read it. Here, something in the center, right? Something in the center is missing, and I think this is not a very difficult question, but let's read. India seems to have acquired the dubious as in doubtful distinction of being the front runner in regressive trend. So first of all, before we read this paragraph, I think this paragraph must be the part of some abroad ka newspaper, New York Times, some British newspaper, mostly BBC or something, because they have to use such language for India all the time. I don't agree with this information, but this is part of one of your, like a important question. Language is quite similar to how it comes in exams, so we are doing it. So they are saying India seems to have acquired the dubious, means India ने distinction ले ली, like हम 70% आके distinction आती है, right? So we have also got distinction as a front runner. We हम बिल्कुल first आ रहे हैं. Distinction है in regressive means old fashioned, or like old fashioned trends as in disrespecting maybe females, or females should not work outside, right, or child labor, underage marriage, etc, etc. Somebody is saying कि इंडिया बिल्कुल फर्स्ट सबसे आगे है in underage marriage and child labor, like that. Slavery is the latest addition to this list, right? और अभी slavery भी हो रही है इंडिया में, as if these people have not used Africans enough that they are talking about us. So yeah, so is the latest addition to this list, although the practice had been abolished long ago. So we are saying slavery की practice तो बहुत पहले abolish हो गई थी. A new study shows that an estimated 29.8 million people live in slavery around the world. पूरे वर्ल्ड में अप्रोक्सीमेटली 30 या 29.8 लोग स्लेवरी में हैं. एंड देन नेक्स्ट लाइन कुछ ब्लैंक है. नेक्स्ट लाइन सेज 14 मिलियन इंडियंस, द हाईएस्ट नंबर इन द वर्ल्ड, लिव इन कंडीशंस ऑफ स्लेवरी. ओके, सॉरी टू डिस्ट्रैक्ट यू स्टूडेंट्स. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, ये जो 14 मिलियन इंडियंस हैं किसकी स्लेवरी कर रहे हैं? इंडियंस लोग इंडियन की तो कर नहीं रहे हैं, ये अब्रॉड में जाके कर रहे हैं, राइट? फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, तो ये जो भी लिख रहा है उसको पहले सोच लें कि इनके घर पे, राइट, जो भी लोग आ रहे हैं, ऑफ कोर्स एक अमेरिकन के घर में अमेरिकन तो खाना नहीं बना रहा होगा, राइट? कोई इंडियन, एशियन, अफ्रीकन ये लोग होंगे. तो whoever has written it is mad person. But yeah, coming back to the question. Okay, so we are saying the quote, just previous line of what we are saying, that although the practice had been abolished, slavery जा चुकी, slavery is gone, a new study shows that an estimated of 29.8 million people are living in slavery around the world. 14 million Indians, the highest number in the world, live in country. So Indians, इसमें से जितने दुनिया में लोग, उसमें से 50% तो Indians ही हैं जो slavery में रह रहे हैं, right? Like that. Okay, so what do you think? यहाँ से if you read, right, from here to here, which option should come? I think most of you will get this correct. This is not a very difficult question, right? जिसने भी लिखा है उसने काफी easy language में लिखा है. So nearly half of this number, this means 29.8, क्योंकि next line में we are saying 14, so nearly means approximately half, so यही जा रहा है. Now this number, this as in 29.8 isn't expected diminish, और 29 नहीं होगा, पर overall see 29.8 होगी ना, but the from the point of view of this author वो इंडिया को ज्यादा टारगेट कर रहा है rather than वर्ल्ड में कितने लोग हैं. So वर्ल्ड का डिमिनिश होना हो अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस पर्सन 14 मिलियन डिमिनिश नहीं होगा, राइट. इंडियंस का कम नहीं होगी, इंडिया तो फ्रंट रनर है एंड ऑल दिस थिंग्स. सो दिस डज नॉट गो विद ओवरऑल थीम ऑफ द पैसेज. ओवरऑल थीम इज टारगेटिंग मोर इंडिया rather than other parts of the world. So my option has to be related to India. Correct? So no. Despite enacting several legislations to curb this menace, मतलब बहुत सारे laws भी आए हैं इसको कम करने के लिए, India still has a long way to go in eradicating slavery. ठीक है, इंडिया हैज अ लॉन्ग वे टू गो कि बहुत सारे, पर अगर लेजिस्लेशन की बात है तो फिर बाद में मैं क्यों बोलूंगी कि 14 मिलियन इंडियंस, इजंट इट? सो लेजिस्लेशन और जो नंबर मैं बाद में दे रही हूँ, दीज टू डू नॉट गो टुगेदर. मेनी कंट्रीज अराउंड द वर्ल्ड आर विटनेसिंग द रिसर्च. अब दूसरी कंट्रीज में भी स्लेवरी वापस आ रही है, मे बी आ रही है, बट दिस पर्सन सीम्स टू बी फोकस्ड मोर ऑन इंडिया देन अदर कंट्रीज. तो ये भी मैं मेनी कंट्रीज बोलूंगी और फिर वापस इंडियंस में बोलूंगी. नहीं, पहले मैं फर्स्ट लाइन में बोल रही हूँ कि इंडिया तो बिल्कुल टॉप पे व्हेन कम्स टू रिग्रेसिव ट्रेंड्स लाइक चाइल्ड लेबर, अंडर एज मैरिज, स्लेवरी, सब इंडिया में. इनफैक्ट दुनिया में 30 मिलियन लोग स्लेवरी में है, एंड आउट ऑफ दैट 50% पीपल आर इन इंडिया. So what I'm trying to say, I'm trying to target India, कि India is like good for nothing, isn't it? That's what this person is trying to say. So he'll not really in between say many countries are also doing it, right? He'll focus more on India. So if you're still confused between option B and one more option, first B is correct because it targets India and overall topic is also India. Secondly, its wordings are much more relevant to the previous and the later line compared to other options. So B will be the correct answer. You tell me now, what do you think this paragraph must be taken from? I do my research. I haven't done for this question. आप ढूंढो और मुझे बताओ ये कहाँ से कौन से न्यूज़पेपर में ये चीज लिखी थी. ठीक है. Now, even in the second next question, students, the blank is somewhere in the middle. So let us try to understand the paragraph first. Understanding overall paragraph, student, is very very important in any question, but especially when the blank is in the middle. Why? Because your correct answer will not only have words from the overall main topic, but also obviously from the first and the last line. And some words sometimes are difficult, so reading has to be good and strong. Okay. A gharana. What is gharana? So they are saying indicates a comprehensive musicological ideology. अब ये क्या है? Musicological. For example, I and my family believe in this kind of music. बहुत सारे type के music है, some XYZ type of music, and then our entire family is in the profession of that music. हम सब वही गाना like वही टाइप का म्यूजिक हम लोग प्ले करते हैं, डिफरेंट जगह परफॉर्म करते हैं, पूरा फैमिली का जो भी इनकम सोर्स है, प्रोफेशन है, वो म्यूजिक रिलेटेड ही है. तो ये हम एंड वी आर पॉपुलर एज वेल, तो घराना टाइप हो गया, right? Like that. The concept, so this concept of gharana, we are saying concept of gharana gained currency as in popular. It got popular, gharana word and all got popular in the 19th century when the royal patronage means royal support, enjoyed by performers weakened. मतलब in like 100 years back or 200 years back, all these gharanas were quite popular and they used to mainly perform only for kings. Normal people didn't have that kind of money ki आजकल these days people go for concerts and all, people can buy tickets even for Justin Bieber at 10,000 20,000 rupee tickets, right? For everyone, Ed Sheeran and all, but earlier that was not the case. So we are saying that in 19th century when kings got bored and their support, whatever they were paying by throwing their ring, right, necklace or whatever, that got weakened, that okay, we are bored of you gharana people, please perform for someone else, like that. So at that time the word gharana got popular. So that now what we are saying in the next sentence, to ration their respective identities. To ration means to fall back, right? To fall back on their identities, as in if I have to tell you my USP students, right? If I'm just teaching you, why would you learn from me. So I have to ration my identity, and all of us on YouTube have to ration our identity कि भाई मेरा ये है, मैं ये बताऊँ, like my if I have to ration my ratio as in तो बताऊँगी मेरा main है कि I have taken these exams CAT and GMAT and scored 99.4 percentile in CAT, 740 in GMAT Classic, और उसके अलावा I have 12 years of teaching experience. I have taught in all the coaching, top coaching, like institutes, you can name it. और मुझे पता है सब जगह क्या कैसा चल रहा है, सो आई नो और क्या बेटर दे सकते हैं, स्पेशली व्हेन इट कम्स टू वर्बल, एंड दैट्स व्हाई आई स्टार्टेड दिस यूट्यूब चैनल. सो कमिंग बैक टू this, to ration their respective identities, they fell back on the names of the regions they hailed from. मतलब they fell back on the names. So मुझे कब आपको बताना पड़ेगा अपनी identity और मैं कहाँ से आई हूँ, I come from, when you don't know, isn't it? When people don't know, I'm going to new place, I'm around new people, then only I have to fall back on my identity and I have to tell people that I come from this area. So therefore, even today, the names of many gharanas refer to places. Some gharanas are well known for their singing khayals, means type of music. Agra gharana, Patiala, Gwalior gharana, Indore gharana, etc., etc. Jaipur gharana. So when I say Jaipur gharana, means they come from there. अभी देखो पहले उसमें क्या बोल रहे हैं हम लाइन में कि in the 19th century the royal support got weak. And then they fell, they rationed their respective identities, they fell back on the names they are coming from. If I'm in India, will I tell you I'm from India? No. But when I go US, I'll tell them I'm from India. So when will you fall back? See, this line is very, when will you fall back on the names you're coming from? When you're leaving the place. जब आप जा रहे हो कहीं पे, you're leaving the place and then you tell people, okay, I come from there and I am like, I am a CAT and GMAT expert, right? मैं कहीं और बताऊंगी. So please, like, respect me like that. Now let's read the option and see which one goes logically. So performers were then compelled to move to urban centers. ये हो सकता है कि रॉयल सपोर्ट वीक हो गया, they moved to urban, वो सिटी एरिया में कहीं urban centers में गए और वहां पे they had to tell their identities and where they come from. So maybe let's keep it. Due to this, performers changed their style to suit audiences unlettered in music. As in जो audience को, the kind of music audience like pop culture, like that they were singing. No, they were still singing khayals. See, khayal likha hai second last line, that means they didn't change their style of music to suit audience taste and everything. That did not happen. It doesn't go with overall information. This marked the beginning of a low phase in Indian classical music. No, it didn't mark because they're still well known. See, second, they're still well known. That means low phase didn't happen. They just changed their style. They changed their audiences, right? That okay, now kings are not listening to us. Let's sing in front of people, and just change the place, right? They went to urban centers. Performers found it very difficult to adapt to the change scenario. I don't think they found it difficult because they fell back on the names of the places, regions they came from, and now they are well known for something. That means they changed their some strategy rather than going through a difficult phase, isn't it? So what is the strategy? They moved to urban city area where people had money, people could pay for their music to listen, like concerts and all, and then from there they were well known for singing khayals and basically famous as Agra Gharana, Gwalior Gharana, Indore Gharana, Jaipur Gharana, etc., etc. So one will be the correct answer. I'm sorry, students, if you feel I'm talking a little bit more, but I just thought with easier questions I can also connect with you while I can talk in between, because generally I'm not going to do that with advanced level questions. Some of you may get bored, so that's why I was just talking and giving my opinions in between. I hope you don't mind that. Now let us move to question number 5. Yeah. Okay, not the last sentence actually here, the middle sentence is missing. Let's read it. The postcards were the first pieces of mail Ruma had received from her father. So first pieces of mail as in Ruma, if you read the entire paragraph, Ruma here doesn't stay with her father, and the father generally rather than calling or anything else would send her letters, mail, postcards. Okay. Now in her 38 years, that means Ruma is 38 years old, she never had the opportunity to reply. So she was only getting the postcards. She never replied to those postcards. Why? His trips means her father's, how do I write? her father's trips were brief enough so that there was no time or not time for Ruma to write back. As in, maybe the father is in raw kind of right a job, some spy or something. So his trips, or maybe very busy business person, international level business person, that he will be at one place only for a week or two. So his trips were short, and that's why if she's getting a postcard from a certain address, when she's maybe if she replies back, writes back, that postcard jab tak wo pahunchega till it reaches there, her father will be gone to a new place, like that. Okay, besides, he was not in a position to receive any mails even from a family. So he was not in a position means he must be in raw secret service, something like that, I feel, right? Because it's not just the trips were brief enough, he was not in a situation where he can, so he was hiding or something like that. Okay, so for again, let's read first and second line because blank is here. The postcards were the first pieces of mail Ruma had received. In her 38 years, she never got the opportunity to reply. So why she could not reply, what was her father's problem and everything, it's later. But in her 30 years, she only got the mail, she never replied. Right? So let's see what can be. Which of the following options is going to be most relevant to the given information? See, ये पूरे पैराग्राफ से we cannot figure out if her father's penmanship was feminine specifically, right? That थोड़ा he was writing like a female. I don't know, right? Maybe not. It was a one-sided correspondence. Yes, she could not reply. Maybe this is the correct answer. Option A, be happy, love Baba. He signed them as if the attainment of happiness were as simple as that. So, like as in, be happy as in, as if like a child or daughter can get happy just by if father is writing be happy love Baba, that's what attainment is, as simple, it's like as simple as that, he's writing be happy, right? That, so again, it's nowhere mentioned that she was missing, and even though he's saying be happy, she was not happy. More like happiness is the focus in the sentence where we do not know, right? So maybe yes, maybe not. I'm not eliminating it, I'm not keeping it, I'm just putting a question mark. The cards were addressed to Ruma. Her father never included her husband or son. We don't know again, right? Cards were, because then we are saying in her 38 years she had never had the opportunity to reply. So which of the following option is much more relevant? I think third is goes more with the main topic as well as the lines around it, isn't it? More. So 3 rather than option 1 and 4. Alright, so we are done with easy questions, students. Now we are going to start with advanced level questions, difficult questions. So make sure you read the questions really carefully, and the paragraphs I mean. And I would suggest in these advanced level questions, as soon as I'm showing you the question right now, pause for a couple of minutes, read the question, read the options, keep an answer for yourself, and then listen to the explanation. Okay? Because right now I'm recording it. There's no one in front of you, so I don't know how much time I should wait and everything. So I'll continue. You just pause in between and then accordingly solve on your own first and then listen to the explanation. Yeah? Alright, so let's get started with advanced level questions. Question number 1, students. Names for crosswords and Sudoku understandably overlap greatly. So in newspaper, generally we see both the things, crossword and Sudoku, both the games, and a lot of people solve both, right? Overlap means a lot of people solve both, but there are differences too, right? Differences is the main thing we are explaining in next few lines. A crossword attracts a more literary person while Sudoku appeals to a keenly logical mind, right? So a crossword, literary as in literature person, someone who is more well-read, that kind of person, where Sudoku appeals to a logical mind. Okay. Some crossword enthusiasts turn up their noses at Sudoku. So many crossword people who solve, they don't like Sudoku, right? Because so those people, see, this is not a fact. Someone who solves crossword more, those people feel that Sudoku lacks depth. Itna bhi kuch, you don't need brains for it. A good crossword requires vocabulary, knowledge, mental flexibility, sometimes even a sense of humor to complete. So what a good crossword requires, it touches numerous areas of life and provides an aha or too long way. So next line mein, what will I say? Next line mein, especially if all the options are starting from Sudoku, I'll tell you what Sudoku requires. Sudoku requires, isn't it? Since we are talking about the differences. So what is the main topic here, students? Main topic is differences between Sudoku and crossword, and last two lines are about crossword. So then in next line, since the options are like that, I need to say what Sudoku requires, isn't it? So let us read. Sudoku, on the other hand, is just a logical exercise, each one similar to the last. Means, right? So, yes, this tells you the requirement. It's a logical exercise, and generally, Sudokus are similar. If you can solve today, you can solve tomorrow, right? Like that. So, maybe let's keep it. Sudoku, incidentally, is growing faster in popularity than crosswords even among the literati. See, what Sudoku requires when you solve a Sudoku, is it logical, is it easier, difficult? It is popular or not is not the main topic, right? In the second, we need something similar to the previous lines. So, no. Sudoku, on the other hand, can be attempted and enjoyed even by children, but crossword, right, for children it's not possible. Maybe that's what they are saying. It cannot be attempted. See, maybe enjoyed but cannot be attempted is a little extreme according to me. So maybe let's keep a question mark. And fourth option, Sudoku, however, is not exciting in any sense of the term. So it says it's just not good. See, rather it's good or bad because crossword and Sudoku are solved by common people as well as different people. So what is the similarity and what's the difference? That's what we are saying. So it's not good is not something which tells you what it requires. It requires a logical mind, a logical exercise. So A is much more similar to the sentence structure written previously about crossword, right, on all these lines. So A will be a better option than other options. I hope you're getting it. By the way, students, you can tell me what kind of person you are, crossword or Sudoku person. I am personally a Sudoku person, more like it takes less time for me. Crosswords में बहुत time जाता है. Even though I'm a verbal faculty, but still it takes hours and hours to fill it up. कुछ ना एक दो blank रहे. Sudoku is hardly a 5 minute 10 minute thing. So yeah, I enjoy Sudoku for that reason more. Okay, now let us solve question number 2. In the question number 2, last line is blank again. So if there's no blank means last line, we have to assume. Let's read. They are the most terrible of punctuation marks in otherwise optimistic story. As in a positive story, if I put punctuation comma in the wrong places, it can change the meaning and they are terrible punctuation marks. Okay, what exactly are we saying? Every few months a bombing somewhere in India claims dozens of ordinary lives, killing random unfortunates going about their daily lives. So every few months कुछ bombing होती है जिसकी वजह से कुछ unfortunately कुछ लोग, some people like lose their life. This is okay, one of the facts. Now the attacks are usually blamed on militant groups fighting Indian rule in parts of divided Kashmir and on elements of Pakistani intelligence service. So generally attacks hote hain, people lose their life. Point number 1. Point number 2, when these attacks happen, people blame it on divided Kashmir people or on the POK side, maybe those, or Pakistani intelligence services, that is ISI, that allegedly helped them. So Ambore, that usually blamed on them, right? Blamed on these people. Now, what is the tone of this paragraph, right? Before we find the correct answer, we need to understand the tone that whenever the attack happens, we usually blame it. That means we need to, next line maybe is trying to say that we should not blame it, rather we should work on the problem or something like that, right? So let's read the options. Option A, the mighty Indian nation. Also, see, this person seems concerned about India. It happens and we blame it on Pakistan. So the mighty Indian, see, it's a taunting type of language. The mighty Indian cannot do a thing against these irritated. We cannot do anything against it. It's except blaming. This is a little extreme tone according to me, offensive tone. So no, it is an obstacle to ending the rancorous. Rancorous means very noisy. So हमारे लिए एक obstacle है जब when these bombings are happening, so we cannot end this झगड़ा with Pakistan 60 years of independence partition के बाद भी, because of all this we cannot end. See, it's not about we want to end fight with Pakistan or not. Some problem is happening and we blame that problem onto other country. onto a neighboring country. So what next, right? So we want to end the, that's not the topic at all in any of the given lines. So no, ये तो possible नहीं है. Blaming Pakistan is a standard response of India's old politicians who cannot think of anything new. कि इनको कुछ और पता ही नहीं. Maybe I'll put a question mark that because we are talking about blaming and all in the last line, it has the similar keyword. So maybe. Each murderous onslaught sets back the painstaking progress India and Pakistan are making. So whenever such bombing happen, we just go back to square one, right? Again, same with option B. It's not about our relation with Pakistan currently. We have a problem going on and we blame it on Pakistan, right? Our divided Kashmir, that's the point. So our relation, progress, whatever India Pakistan are making, right? That's not the point. So right now we have option C maybe or option E. Let's read. India has to be more responsible rather than blaming Pakistan for everything that goes wrong on its soil. Yes, isn't it? So we need to be more responsible. So we are saying we blame it on them, and now next line will be suggestion that we need to be more responsible rather than blaming. Or blaming Pakistan has been a standard. So it's not like we always like somebody's. It's more less pro India, whereas E is more on the suggestions side. So I feel E is always better than option C. Now let's solve question number 3. Okay. See, this particular paragraph is divided into two parts. First part talks about a problem, whereas second part talks about the solution. What happens to our brains as we age is of very importance, crucial importance, not just to science but to public policy. So what happened to our brains as we age is important for public policy. By 2030, for example, 72 million people in the US will be over 65. Double the figure in 2000, and their average life expectancy will have edged. Edge means increase because medical and all will be better. So life expectancy will also increase. Now most of the people are living till 70, 80. After a few years, people will start living till 100 easy, right? Because of medical science and all. So however, this demographic time bomb would be much less threatening if the elderly were looked upon as intelligent contributors. So see, from here we are saying positive things, that we don't have to always think, okay, our population is old, right? There are less young people, for example, in the US, so it's a problem. No, this demographic time bomb, it will be less threatening. It will be less threatening, less negative if we look upon elderly people as intelligent people, that they have experience. With their experience, they can contribute in the country. They don't have to go out, hard work, with their brain experience, right? How they talk, what. Through that also we can use them for our country, or they can work for our country. So to society rather than as dependent. So we can see them as intelligent people rather than dependents in the long term decline. So it's just about seeing those people in the right way. So last few lines are positive on how we should see elderly people not as a problem but more like contributors. That's how, right? हम positive बोल रहे हैं. So my correct answer should be on the positive line, unless any option starts with but, however, whereas. So with but we can say again negative, but right now all the options are starting in the continuation only. So we have to say something positive. One thing is very clear. So we'll remove the options which are negative, students. Okay, the idea that we get dumber as we grow older is just a myth. According to a brain research that will encourage anyone old enough to know better, right? So it's not about that anyone old enough to know better. See, it's not about what old people think of themselves. Like maybe it's just a myth and they should know better, that they are not dumb people, right? So no, it's about how we generally perceive, especially in terms of public policy, old people we should perceive, and how they can be helpful for our economy, for country as intelligent contributors, right? So how they themselves perceive themselves is not the point. It is time we rethink, right? Rethink, yes. That we mean by the aging, what we mean by the aging mind. Before our false assumption, जो हम गलत सोचते रहते हैं कि ठीक है, old people means dependent people. Not really. Result in decisions. So before our false result in decisions and policies that marginalize the old and waste precious, and then we waste these precious. So it's exactly the continuation of the last night. We will waste this precious public. Like old people are important public for us. We can use their experience, right? Their intelligence, their experience, like the way whatever they have learned, their skills. And like before marginalizing them, we need to make a policy or decide in the right way. We should see them in positive light and accordingly plan for them, right? Should not see them as dependents and all. So this looks to me a great option. I'll keep this for a while. Option C. Many of the assumptions scientists currently make about cognitive decline are seriously flawed, and for the most, see, it's not just scientists are seeing as like them. Public policy, how generally these people are perceived, that's how, if government law rules will be like that, these people can be contributing, can contribute to the country, right? Not how scientists falsely see them. Using computer models to simulate means to copy young and old brains. Ramker and his colleagues, ये लोग कहाँ से आए, found that they could account for the decline in test scores simply by factor. See, हमें test नहीं दिलाना है old people को, है ना? Generally they can contribute overall with their experience, skill and all, right? So ये तो super कुछ irrelevant है. So here overall paragraph can be slightly difficult, but only one option has wordings, meaning closest to the given overall main topic and last line. And also B here. B is the correct answer. Now question number 4, students. Let's read it. The 16th century in Europe was a great century of change. Right? Great century of change. The humanist and artists, these two people of the Renaissance, would help characterize the age as one of individualism and self-critique. As in 16th century में Europe got great people like Leonardo da Vinci, Picasso, many great scientists, etc., etc. So at that time, humanists, as in people who were thinking about human rights, how we can live as superhumans, maybe, right, in a more smarter way, intelligent way. All those people, and then artists, great artists of the Renaissance. Renaissance is 16th century time where Europe saw many great people actually. So it would help characterize the age as one of individualism and self-creativity. So this was a time of all these things. Humanists such as Petrarch helped restore the dignity of mankind, like kaise humko rehna chahiye, how we should live our life, etc., how we should think, while men like Machiavelli injected humanism into politics, means politics, the right way of doing politics, the right civics and everything, right? All those things. When all is said and done, the Renaissance helped to secularize European society, as in people were much more smarter, believing in everything, not just focusing more on religion, less on science, nothing like that. People were much more intelligent after this Renaissance period, after the 16th century, right? Because of these people, more intelligent people coming into, born in the society, secularize the society. Secularize means to believe in everything. Okay, in science also we have much more to do. In religion side also we have much more to learn. In generally common sense, mankind, humanist side also we have much more to do. So people were much more open-minded to everything. So secularize here means that the being more open-minded, wide knowledge of everything. Right? Open-minded and wide knowledge. So now let's read options, students. The year 1543, just before Renaissance, can be said to have marked the origin of the scientific revolution, with Copernicus de-revolutionizing and settling them. Mostly it's not just about scientific advance. We are last line saying it's secularized, as in it started believing in everything from religion, science, art, politics, everything, not just the science. So this is through limited to just science, a little narrow option compared to others. I will be eliminating this. Option B, the century witnessed the growth of royal power, the appearance of centralized monarchies, and the discovery of new lands. Maybe the century, because we're talking about this century, that way it is related, but royal power is not that related. Centralized monarchies and discovery of the new land. So maybe I'll just keep it, not very sure. The very powerful notion that man makes his own history and destiny took root. Yes, that we make our own history, that we can, right? Just like these people, like first of all, nothing was happening. Suddenly, 16th century, such great people came, and then, right, they restored or they brought many new things into people's perspective. So that means destiny. So that a man makes his own history and destiny. We make our own luck. We make our own story. So this is that everybody can do best. If these people correct, can read and self think about more about politics, creativity, and everything. Everybody can. So see, royal power, monarchy, all these things are again irrelevant. I would say I'll remove that option, and now C seems quite better to me. So for now I'll keep option C. Option D, in the meantime urbanization continued unabated, means uncontrolled, as it the growth of the, so cities were happening, universities were growing, more and more cities were growing. That's what we are saying. Again, it's secularized, like people were more open minded at that time, right? More that they can also become something, they can also do something. See, from India you will see many people right now these days, many people are CEO of the top companies like Google, Microsoft, etc., right? Like everything, even our prime minister, UK's prime minister is Indian, everything. So you think, okay, maybe Indians are intelligent, I can do something. But if you don't have a single example of any Indian doing anything great, you think maybe nothing, so you'll not even think like that. So we basically, since people were much more open minded, they thought that okay, we can also make our own history, our luck, and our destiny, and everything more like that. So C will be the correct answer. Question number 5, students. The notion of giving offense suggests that certain beliefs are so important or valuable to certain people. So this is a very good question in terms of philosophy, philosophical question. So we are saying, अगर हमें किसी की बात का बुरा लगता है, for example, when you feel bad if someone say something about a family, right? So we feel bad, right? Very natural. Suggests that certain beliefs, that means these, that we feel कि okay, कोई कुछ भी बोले, you can maybe say something to me, but not for my family. So certain beliefs are so important or valuable to certain people that they should put beyond the possibility of that you can't even talk about it, right? Insulted, caricature means to make fun of, or even question, you can't even question, right? Like that. The importance of the principle of free speech is precisely that. But then free speech का जो principle है, whether you like it or not, students, पर free speech का मतलब ही है कि it provides a challenge to the idea that some questions are beyond contention and thus acts as a challenge to authority. As in, जो भी चीज को लगता है कि इस पे तो नहीं कोई कुछ बोल सकता, फ्री स्पीच का मतलब है कि उस पे ही लोग बोलेंगे, you like it or not. Once we give up on the right to offend in the name of tolerance or respect, कि हाँ ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, we give up the right of offense. As in, I will not offend you, I will be politically right, because like we should be tolerant of each other, we should be respectful. तो इसके लिए I will not say anything which I should not say, I'll not cross my line. But जब हम ऐसे करते हैं, we constrain our ability to challenge those in power. But especially जो लोग power में हैं, उनको फिर हम पोलाइटनेस के चक्कर में हम उनको चैलेंज नहीं करते हैं. एक दूसरे को वैसे भी हमें चैलेंज नहीं करना है, हम तो सब बराबर है. पर जो लोग पावर में और गलत डिसीजंस ले रहे हैं, इनजस्टिसेस कर रहे हैं, हम आउट ऑफ पोलाइटनेस एंड रिस्पेक्ट उनको भी चैलेंज नहीं करते हैं. वहां पे तो फ्री स्पीच हमें यूज करनी ही चाहिए, right? Like that. So if anybody is equal to you, the learning is equal to you, below you, for example, in terms of anything, you should always be respectful. वहां पे जनरली लोग अपना रूड बिहेवियर दिखाते हैं, वहां नहीं करना चाहिए. If somebody is your authority actually and if they are doing something injustice or wrong, that is the right place to use free speech and nowhere else. Okay. Coming to the last line, right? Since last line is our blank. So we are talking about that free speech. The importance of the principle of free speech is that we should challenge the authority and we can't just stop our mouth in terms of tolerance and respect and not challenging people in power, even though, right, they are doing injustice. So we have to challenge injustice. Something wrong is happening, we should always speak like that. Okay. Let's read the options. For such diverse societies to function and to be fair, we need to show respect for, no, we should not show respect, especially to other people, right? Especially if they are not, it's not about being fair. Yeah, unnecessary respect dikhani. We should show respect, but not unnecessary respect. The last line talks about that we should speak up against those who are in power when if they are wrong, isn't it? So this idea doesn't go with the overall main topic. In fact, it's opposite. So ठीक है, right, बात सही करें, we should show respect to others, but ये paragraph उस बारे में नहीं बोल रहा है. It's not talking like that. The right to subject each other's fundamental beliefs to criticism is the bedrock of an open, diverse, yes, we can say yes, to challenge each other's beliefs, right? Some people can say I am not at all a biased person, but if I keep asking you multiple question, 10 question, I'll make you feel that you're also biased to some extent, right? Maybe just more towards your family, anything, friends, but I can prove that every person in this world is biased to some extent, less or more. So just to challenge each other's fundamental beliefs, criticize करना and everything, वही एक open, diverse, fair society का वो है. तो हम open speech होनी चाहिए. So this actually supports open speech और free speech, right? Open और free speech, इस चीज को वो support करता है ये option, और इसीलिए I'll just keep it for a while. I hope you can read what I've written. Right, I'll just erase this and write properly. Till then you can read option C, students. Okay, all right. If people are too people are to occupy the same political space without conflict, they mutually have to limit the extent to which they subject each other's fundamental beliefs. As in, अगर लोग एक ही political space में उनको झगड़ा नहीं करना है, तो then they are not really questioning each other's fundamental beliefs. और वो अगर opposition party नहीं है, for example, एक ही party है, they will not feel like bettering them, improving themselves, isn't it? And then जो चल रहा है चलता रहेगा. But then again, this is not about people in the same space without conflict. It's about creating conflict. Especially, we need to challenge those in power, not power वाले power को challenge करें या ना करें, isn't it? So that's again no. The more the policy makers that give license for people to be offended, the more that people will seize a opportunity to feel offended. जितना offend होने दोगे उतना लोग ऑफेंड करेंगे आपको आप जितना चिड़चिड़े दिखोगे लोगों को, लोग आपको उतना ही चिढ़ाएंगे. It's not about that. It's about speaking up for the wrong, isn't it? Speaking up, being हमें fair society, right? Injustice जो है उसको injustice के against बोलना चाहिए. ये fair होके रहना चाहिए. सबको fair रहने के लिए हमें हमारी free speech होनी चाहिए. All these things are given in option B. Question number 6, students. The true essence of a writer's voice lies far beneath the surface. It is not merely okay, we are saying whenever you read a book, especially a philosophical book, for example, so the true essence of a writer's voice lies beneath the surface. जो आपने story पढ़ी सिर्फ उतना नहीं है. That why that person wanted to write that story in the first place. So it is beneath that. You have to read between the lines. You have to read. You have to understand more than what is written. It is not merely a matter of grammar and word choice. नहीं किसी grammar बहुत अच्छी है, इसकी vocabulary अच्छी है, so good writer. No. It's basically the writer wants to connect, is craving to connect. It is less craft, less art and more courage, right? कुछ ऐसा टॉपिक है जिसके अराउंड उसने स्टोरी वीव किया. वो कोर टॉपिक क्या है वो उस ऑथर के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है देन द होल स्टोरी एक्चुअली. एंड वो स्टोरी जो भी अच्छे वर्ड्स एंड ऑल नो, और वो दैट टेक्स करेज कि उसको कितना अच्छे से उस ऑथर वो सिचुएशन को प्रेजेंट कर सकता है थ्रू द स्टोरी. सो इट्स लेस इंक मीन्स लेस पेन मोर ब्लड. मतलब कितनी मेहनत की है उस कॉन्सेप्ट को स्टोरी फॉर्म में बताने के लिए, राइट? लाइक दैट. इट इज नॉट ओनली हाउ द राइटर टेल्स हिज स्टोरी, इट इज अ स्टोरी ही चूजेस टू टेल. सो इट इज नॉट how, like how as in the style wordings, not, it is the story itself, the core of the story, which is more important than oh beautifully written story, good vocabulary, not all those things. The story he must tell, it is the reason he must tell. So for that author writer, this is a very important situation, concept or story, and then he just makes it creative, right, for palatable for readers. And that's why this is the reason he writes. He doesn't write it for fame, for grammar, to show off his grammar, to show off his word choice, but it's more coming from heart, from passion to write, etc. Those things, more connected with the topic, the theme of the story than anything else. So let's read the options. It reveals itself in details the eye doesn't easily take in some unexpected hesitation or cunning adverb or barely audible inflection that makes you sit up and take notice. So we are saying that those details which author trying to convey, it comes with unexpected hesitation or cunning, clever adverbs he is using, cunning as in clever, or barely audible inflection maybe that makes you sit up and then take notice. Okay, oh, that's what he's trying to say, that's what he's thinking, maybe, isn't it? Maybe. Let's keep it. And contrary to popular belief, a writer's voice is learnt more than it's found. Than, see, we are saying it's very difficult, it's just beneath the surface. So it's not like people are founding or discovering it. Most of the time we just understand the story and go to next story. We don't even understand why writer wrote the story, na? With half of the story, more than half of the stories. It is the fiery truth that burns in his heart until it becomes unbearable to wait even a single. So, yes, it is the truth that burns in his heart. See this line. It is a story he must tell. It is the reason, right? It is something which is beneath the surface. It is a craving to connect this point, right? This point, these wordings, more courage, until it becomes unbearable. Like it is that he's so connected to this theme that he wants to really express that point through a story, and becomes unbearable to keep that within him, to even wait a single moment longer before putting pen to paper or fingertips to keyboard, that I have to type it in this way because I'm feeling it this way. So if you write something emotionally, people, readers will also connect, right? So that thing is very, like, fiery and burns in the heart. So this goes with the tone for sure, more like, compared to other options. It is the way an author expresses personal attitude through word choices. See, it's not about the word choice, first of all. Aside sentence flow, paragraph density, other individuals, see, it's not a stylistic, kya style say, compound, complex structure. That's not important. It's the author's, what's there in the author's heart. वो बताना चाहता है. That's what he wants to convey. Right? So this reference. So out of A and C goes more with the theme and tone of the given paragraph. Now, question number 7. While your intentional mind is thoughtful, it's easily waylaid by deep seated habits. As in, intentional mind is that I have to, in order to get a 99 percentile, I have to study every day for 3 to 4 hours. But then you have deep seated habits, right? That you want to wake up tomorrow at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., but you have a habit of waking up at 9 p.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m. So it's difficult to wake up at 5 a.m. So waylaid, as in you're easily influenced or easily, like, swayed by deep-seated habits. If you're trying to lose weight, for example, standard interventions like weight loss programs will leave your intentional mind feeling motivated. Like if you want to lose weight, I watch a YouTube video, you can eat this, you can exercise like this, I'll feel motivated. Okay, I have to do this, I'll start from tomorrow. That tomorrow, although may never come, that's a different thing. But they won't feed your habitual mind, right? So motivational mind will definitely lit up, but the habitual mind, I'll say, okay, tomorrow I'll start, but tomorrow I'll again wake up at 10 a.m. Right, like that. So what do I do now? So this is the problem, right? That I want to do something, but my habitual mind is not making me do something, right? I know I should study harder for CAT exam. Now 3 months are remaining. So what's the solution? Students, to accomplish that, you must first derail existing habits. So for example, if you want to lose your weight, right? So derail, as in whatever is your habit of eating unhealthy, for example, or do anything, and then create a window of opportunity to act on new intentions. Do something new in that space. Do something new, like, okay, I'll start, rather than spending time on phone, sitting and spending time on phone, I will walk, right? Something like that. So you have to find an option which talks about solution here, right? Because last line is about solution. So the next time you want to watch your favorite movie or TV show on Netflix, make yourself watch it on the treadmill instead. This is a suggestion of, in terms of, next time when you're watching TV, do it on the treadmill, as in run and then run or walk and then watch something. See, basically last line क्या कि derail existing habits and then new. So it's में कुछ derail existing habits तो है नहीं, TV देखते देखते करो, पुरानी habits तो फिर भी है, isn't it? So ठीक है, like okay option, okay shops option. I'll put a question mark maybe here. Now, option B, studies have shown that maintaining a food diary, a record of everything you eat and drink, is one of the best ways to start. You really think, if I want to lose it, if I just maintain, okay, आज मैंने ये खाया, tomorrow I'll eat this, yesterday I ate this, it's knowing, through that I can start. And you have to first of all leave the old habit, existing habits, and then start on the new ones in that space, is what they are saying. So just doing a new something habit is not enough. how to derail the old habits, right? So that also I need to know. So B, nahi not possible, nahi ho sakta. Doing squats and calf raises while brushing your teeth. So you're doing brushing and you're doing squats or calf raises, for example, will again a new habit or intention, it definitely suggests, will reward you with the double confidence of a shinier smile and improved fitness. You will just look like Hrithik Roshan maybe, right? Or whoever you like, Tom Cruise, right? Any actor. So see, this is a new intention, new habit. This is what you should do. What's the solution? How would you remove the old habit, see old habit, and then bring new? So D, I think, connects both. That get rid of unhealthy cues by moving junk. So if you have junk in your fridge or anything, remove all chips ka packet and everything, right? Old habits, that's how you derail. So it connects with this portion. And put fresh fruits right out where it's easy to see, basically in front of the dining table, around your study table, healthy things, so that whenever you feel hungry you're reaching out for healthy things and not the chips and everything, right? So it connects more with the last line compared to any other option, for that matter. Some options are only talking about old habits, some options are only talking new suggestions. Only D option connects a good example of the last line. So option D will be the correct answer. वैसे these things are written in Atomic Habits also, students. A very good book. I will recommend all of you to read whenever you get time. I will share the PDF of that book in the group. I have that. So in files section you can find the Atomic Habit book and then you can read, right? वैसे भी you should develop the habit of reading in one of the good books. How should you leave old habits and then, like, bring new habits into your lifestyle, right? Atomic Habits is one of the good books for that. You must read it. Question number 8. The idea that you can increase your emotional intelligence, okay, is by broadening your emotion vocabulary, is grounded in neuroscience. As in, if emotion related words you know more than being sad and happy, right? Maybe you can say, I'm peaceful right now. I'm not very happy, I'm not sad, I'm peaceful, which is a better emotion than happiness or sadness, something. So if your emotional vocabulary is improving, you know what all type of emotions are there, etc., etc. Through that, you can improve your emotional intelligence. Your brain is not static, it rewires itself with experience. So see, every time I learn something new, I see something new, anything, your brain rewires. It's not like same. So when you learn new emotion words, you sculpt your brain's microwiring, giving it the means to construct new emotional experiences. And the more emotions that you know, the more finely your brain can construct emotional meaning automatically from other people's action. As in, you will understand, okay, this person did that, maybe the person was feeling like that or thinking like that. So you can understand people more, you'll be more sensitive to people, more empathetic, understanding to people. If you just develop your emotional vocabulary, your emotion vocabulary is what we are saying. We'll understand people in a better way. So let us and see which option talks about emotional intelligence, emotion vocabulary, etc., etc. So option A, students. Since people use the same emotion words without necessarily meaning the same thing, a good emotional vocabulary is key to emotional intelligence. See, if people are using just words without meaning anything, I heard the word somewhere and I just used it, then how will it contribute to emotional intelligence? This sentence doesn't go with overall theme, doesn't make sense. Very illogical sentence. In short, your emotional intelligence is a function of the emotions you experience. So your emotional intelligence is whatever emotions you know and expressions you perceive in. Yes, emotional intelligence may be that, but our emotional intelligence can be improved, can be broadened by emotion vocabulary, right? वो कहाँ पे? Where is that emotion? So this is partially true, maybe not absolutely true. Partially true option. So I'll remove this or may just keep it. Hence, learning foreign languages. See, learning emotional vocabulary will help you. Maybe in your same language. It's not like learning foreign languages and those language which has emotion words have no direct equivalent in English. Right? Especially if it is not there in English, it will enhance. No, in any language, in your own language, also if you learn emotional words, it will. It's not like just foreign. So it's absolutely out of scope and this is not your correct answer. In short, every emotion word you learn is a new tool for future emotional intelligence. So every emotion word you learn is a new tool for future emotional intelligence. Yes, right. So emotional, what do you learn? You learn your emotional intelligence broadens. So D definitely goes with overall main topic as well as the last line, and hence is your correct answer. Question number 9. See, in question number 9, the first line itself starts with an example. This example is for, let's read. For example, two of the world's best loved and most abiding narratives, The Lord of the Rings and the Narnia series, invoke values that were familiar in the Middle Ages but are generally considered repulsive today. As in, when you see these movies, Lord of the Rings, Narnia series, they invoke certain values which were familiar. At that time, people used to be like that, right? But now people say this is old fashioned people. Their way of living life is very old fashioned. What are they saying? Ridiculous. These days, who talks like this? Who lives life like that? Etc. etc. Disorder in these stories is characterized by the usurpation of rightful kings or the rightful higher. So, in these stories, something negative when they're saying, they're generally showing that okay, good kings were there, but somebody took their throne. कोई किसी ने उनकी जगह ले ली, या rightful जो बनना चाहिए था here, as in जिसको मिलना चाहिए था वो throne, उसको नहीं मिला. Something इस तरह का कुछ disorder negative they will show. Justice and order rely on their restoration. And generally फिर some hero will come, he will get the king rightfully what theirs, जो भी उनका है, their country, their throne. So this is how the stories used to be. We find ourselves cheering the result and then we like it. Yeah, that yes, you know, like okay, moral victory, सही चीज की जीत हुई. So we like when autocracy resumes, the destruction of industry, and even in the case of Narnia, the triumph of divine right. जो सही है वो हो रहा है, over secure, over what people want, or you know, generally that time what should be the right thing. So generally find ourselves cheering or getting happy for when right things happen at the end, like that. Okay, so see, last line is what, that there are certain things which people don't like it today, as in people, those beliefs people may not follow, but in the story when we watch, we go in those times and then we cheer up for those principles, those things, right? Whatever is shown in these kind of movies, like that. So which option is similar to, yeah, similar to the last line? Let's see. एक second. Stories that possess narrative fidelity. Fidelity means faithfulness, as in they give you what you want, reflecting the way we expect humans and the world to behave. जैसे हमको exactly चाहिए, वो best होती नहीं. कुछ चीजें आजकल हमें पसंद नहीं, शायद हम खुद ऐसा नहीं करेंगे. We'll not do things on ourselves, by ourselves, but we'll just like it in the movie. That's what we are seeing. It's not like if movie showing what we want to see, then they are the best movies. Not like that. Right? It's like, for example, in Lord of the Rings, a person like जो इसमें dwarf होता है, that person just ऐसे ही out of goodness, good behavior goes for a mission जिसके लिए वो eligible नहीं है, he is not the right person, he doesn't have any power, और फिर वो help करता है end तक, and he actually comes out to be as a winner, like that. So आप किसी की ऐसे ही help करोगे खतरा लेके, danger लेके. That's what Lord of the Rings. So maybe such principles we may not agree or familiar these days, but when we see in the movies, okay, this person is showing courage, helping a friend, right, selflessly and everything, we just like it. We cheer for these things. So yeah, right. So it's not like if we see what we want to see, it's the best thing. Stories can be so powerful, they sweep all before them, even our fundamental values and beliefs. No, something it talks about, if something is, for example, अगर हमको लगता है सही है, maybe we do not follow it in our life practically, but if we think something is right, we just like it, right? That's all. Stories that resonate powerfully with the narrative structure of our minds are prepared for triumphs. Anything जिस भी story में last में winning है, no, it's not any story. Any story which shows the fair, right thing, right? जो हमें लगता है हाँ ये सही हो रहा है, those things we like. It's not like we don't like facts, evidence. We don't like scientific movies. We only like, right, winning movies, like that. If a narrative is simple है, yes, अगर कोई story simple है और वो अपने deep needs और desires कि हमें जो सही लगता है, as in deep needs, as in ऊपर से हम भले ही ना दिखाएं ये ऐसा चीजें follow करें, but deeply we feel yes right चीज होनी चाहिए, that captures our imagination and influences, holds sway over us, means it kind of influences us even though we don't really do it, but we believe in it, like that. So option D. Now question number 10, students. एक second. Yeah, we have good reason, of course, to be cynical about morality of politicians. So, right, even now people say politicians are not fair, they are corrupt, etc., etc. So we have good reason to be doubtful, cynical as in to be doubtful about the morality of politicians, that they may be immoral people. But if money alone, but we need to understand it. We think that okay, money is maybe buying that person from this party to going to that party just because the person was paid money. So we are saying if money alone was sufficient to buy the loyalty of legislators or anyone, this I'm a politician, I am paying to people, or some legislator means people who are making law. So people say कि this person has paid to Supreme Court, this person politician has paid to ED or whatever. So अगर money would have been enough, there would be a lot of instability. Then a lot of people have money, everybody can buy anyone, right? So it's not just money. That's what we are saying, that we can say politicians are immoral and they do corruption, paying money, taking money, but it's not just money. Actually, too many politicians, to paraphrase Oscar Wilde, is a great writer, so too many politicians can resist everything but temptation. So it's not, they can, as in too many politicians, they can maybe resist, but it's not, temptation is not just the money, it can be many other things, right? If I'm going from one party to another party, it's not because just because I got money and that's why I'm shifting. Maybe I feel that party has a long term vision, they will win more in the coming years, and etc., etc., all these things, right? Like that. So that means defection means when you change loyalty, changing loyalty, going from one party to another, something like that. So changing loyalty, for example. So defection remains an occasional game, मतलब ये हमेशा नहीं होता है, because money is just one time payoff. अभी पैसा आ जाएगा, खर्च हो जाएगा एक दो साल में, I may not be able to use it maybe, right? As a politician I'll have to keep in Swiss bank or somewhere, but that means there's more than money. Why people are given to temptations, right? Give up to temptation, that's what we're saying. It's not just money. So this option we will keep. And the bane of politics is the lack of ideological anchor among politicians. As in bane, as in disadvantage of politics. That's why people are not. It's not because of politics. Politicians are not fair. We are saying people may doubt morality of politicians, but they are more moral than we think. It's not just money. It's more than that. If something is tempting them, it's more than money. They don't do just things just for money. Money is just one of the small factors, maybe. I like option B for now, I'll keep it. Politicians, alas, suffer from a poverty of philosophy and are driven by. See, if they suffer from poverty of philosophy, as in I feel एज अ पॉलिटिशियन देश आगे बढ़ना चाहिए, तो मैं उसके लिए मेरा नुकसान हो फायदा हो वट एवर इट इज, आई विल टेक डिसीजंस अकॉर्डिंगली. And then narrow self-interest. No, it's not narrow. It's more than self-interest. It's what temptation it is, right? More than money. They are just thinking narrowly, just for money. कि ठीक है पैसा दिया, let's move to that party, right? It's more than that. So it's not narrow self-interest. Political defection on the promise of money and power vitiates the political. So we are saying पैसों की वजह से पूरा पोलिटिकल एटमॉस्फेयर खराब हो जाता है. विशिएट एज इन स्पॉइल्स. बट द मेन पैराग्राफ सेज मनी इज नॉट द ओनली. इफ अगर पैसे से ही सब होता तो देयर वुड हैव बीन अ लॉट ऑफ इंस्टेबिलिटी, राइट? कोई किसी को भी खरीद रहा होता. बट दैट डज नॉट हैपन. पॉलिटिशियंस हैव मोर टेम्पटेशंस देन जस्ट मनी. पैसा तो हर पॉलिटिशियन के पास है, बट स्टिल दे डू दीज थिंग्स, इमोरल थिंग्स, बिकॉज देयर इज मोर देन मनी इन्वॉल्व्ड, right? Or more factors than money. That's what we are saying. So B goes more, which says that money is not the main thing, right? Money is not the main thing. Otherwise other options say it's the money, it's a narrow self, it's a selfishness, all these things. But it says money is not the main reason or main factor for them to be immoral or to do anything wrong for that matter. Okay students, so we solved 10 advanced level questions. Now I'm going to give you 5 to 7 questions for assignment or homework. For example, question number 11, you solve this. First of all, pause it, and then question number 12, I'll give you the answer for these, but please listen to it later. So for question number 11, the answer is option A. You in comments you give me the explanation why A or why not other options, right? ये आप मुझे बताओ. Question number 12 का आंसर है, give me a second. Question. Yes, C. Right, C. You give me the explanation why C though. And then for rest of the questions, these are past year questions, so you solve them on your own. For these you will find answer, explanations, everything in the comment box, in the description box below, or in the group, right? I'll share a PDF of all these questions with answer key. So right, these are the 4 questions. Apart from that, you can take a look, pause, right? I'll just show you again all the 4 questions. Question number 1, question number 2, 3, 4. ठीक है, प्लीज सॉल्व कर लेना. थैंक यू सो मच स्टूडेंट्स फॉर वॉचिंग. मेक श्योर you write your doubts, any queries you have on the comments. You can directly connect with me either on comments or Telegram group. You can just write down, and then through that either you can connect with me one on one, or directly write your query in group. If you want to talk something you cannot write, you can send me a voicemail, and accordingly I'll reply, maybe through message or a voicemail. Yeah, so thank you so much. See you tomorrow with another session. Bye everyone.